I am Dr. Jessie John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapith, Women's University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss the thorax wall. We have seen here the thorax, and we can see this is the thorax skeleton, and the bony thorax is made up by the sternum and manubrium body and gyphoid process. This is a part of the sternum, and there are ribs that are 7 2 ribs and 5 false ribs, and clavicle, scapula, and vertebrae, and cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccygeal, all the vertebrae, including the vertebrae. So these all the structures made the thorax proper. So we can see here in this picture the clear picture of the bony thorax also. And this is the sternum. It is the mid part of the bony thorax that it constitutes the manubrium and body and gyphoid process. Line of orientation means anterior axillary lines, semi-axillary lines, and posterior axillary lines, and mid-clavicular lines. These and middle lines. These are the lines that we call the lines of orientation, and we use all this line to the surface landmark of the thorax, and we are tracing the all these things on the surface. Then we use all these lines and that are called line of orientation. Covering of the thoracic wall. The thoracic wall is covered from outside to inside by the following structures that are the skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, and muscles. And the muscles, the thoracic wall is liberally covered by the following extrinsic muscles. Muscles of upper limb, we called pectoralis major and pectoralis minor muscles. And serratus anterior cover the side of the thoracic wall. Muscles of the abdomen, rectus abdominis, and external oblique cover the lower part of the front of the thoracic wall. And muscles of the back, trapezius and latissimus dorsi, and levator scapulae and rhomboideus major and minor, and serratus posterior, superior, inferior, erector spinae. So these are all the muscles that cover the thoracic wall. Now we will discuss thoracic wall proper. Thoracic cage forms the skeletal framework of the wall of the thorax. The gap between the ribs are called intercostal spaces, and they are filled by the intercostal muscles and contain the intercostal nerves, vessels, and lymphatics. So these are intercostal muscles. We will discuss about these are external intercostal. They have a origin from the lower border of the upper rib and insert into the outer lip of the upper border of the lower rib. And the internal intercostal, they have taken the origin from the floor of the costal grooves, the upper lip, and insert into the inner lip of the upper border of the lower lip. Transverse thoracic muscles. Here, including three type of the muscles, subcostales, they take a origin from the inner surface of the rib near the angle and insert into the inner surface of the second or third rib fellow. Intercostalis intimi, inner surface of the upper rib, and lower one third of the posterior surface of the body of the sternum, and posterior surface of the gyphoid, posterior surface of the costal cartilage of the lower third or two ribs near the sternum. And insertion, inner surface of the second and third ribs below, inner surface of the lower rib, and costal cartilage of the second and sixth rib. So these are the muscles of the in the thorax, and we call it intercostal muscles. And these all these things we have discussed. They are the origin insertion of these muscles. And we can see here the direction of these muscles. We can see here in this picture also. Direction of the fibers. Anterior part of the intercostal space, the fibers of external intercostal muscles run downwards, forwards, and medially, and fibers of the internal intercostal run downward, backward, and laterally, and fibers of transverse thoracic run same direction as those of internal intercostal. Nerve supply, all the muscles are supplied by the intercostal nerves of the space in which they lie. Action of the intercostal muscle. The main action of the intercostal muscle is prevent retraction of the intercostal space during expiration and their bulging outward during the inspiration. The external intercostal is an intercondral portion of the internal intercostal, and the levator costae may elevate the ribs during the inspiration. The internal intercostal and the transverse thoracic may depress the ribs and cartilage during the expiration. Nerves and vessel, intercostal nerves. Intercostal nerves are anterior primary rami of spinal nerves T1 to 211. The anterior primary ramus of the 12th thoracic nerve forms the subcostal nerves. Intercostal arteries. There are two type arteries, that is anterior intercostal arteries and posterior intercostal arteries. And the each intercostal space contain one posterior and two anterior intercostal arteries. The greater part of space is supplied by the posterior intercostal artery. Posterior intercostal arteries are 11 in on each side, one in each space. The first and second posterior intercostal arteries arise from the superior intercostal artery, which is a branch of costocervical trunk, and third to 11th arteries arise from the descending thoracic aorta. Termination. Each posterior intercostal artery ends at the level of the costochondral junction by anastomosing with the upper anterior intercostal artery of the space. Anterior intercostal artery, two anterior intercostal arteries in each space, upper six spaces they arise from the internal thoracic artery, and 10th and 11th space do not have any anterior intercostal arteries, and these arteries end at the costochondral junction by the anastomosing with the posterior intercostal arteries. So we have seen this picture, the track of how arrange the anterior and posterior intercostal arteries. Now we will discuss the venous drainage, into the azygous vein, hemizygous vein, and accessory hemizygous vein. And we will discuss azygous vein, hemizygous vein, accessory hemizygous vein in a second video. Thank you.